What's up? We're gonna do some sharpening tonight. I just kind of felt like having some fun with you guys. So join me to get this pinned. We're gonna see what came in the mail today. I had a good mail day. I had a lot of knives show up because I was kind of running out of stuff to sharpen. But I had a really good mail day. So I want to see what came in the mail. And maybe we'll bust some of these knives out tonight. See how it goes. Fun little Friday night. Why not? Do some work. Because this is all I do for work. So doing it live is kind of fun. So our first package is from Ken Royce and Ken Harris, and he is a regular customer, and he sends me lots of knives, and that's pretty awesome. So he's a repeat client, and I'm thinking these are Spyderco's. We'll find out. We'll see what they are. Might be surprised. Sometimes I get really surprising things. Like I opened one of these earlier, and it was a $2,000 custom knife, and that kind of scared me. But well, then we're gonna do what we're gonna do. We'll see what's in here. So who we got joining me tonight? Okay. Yeah. Hello, Jake. Jake, where were you at? Were you in Japan? Is that right? Japan's awesome. Is that where you were? I just that's a great way to learn. I'm just gonna dick around and hopefully I don't screw up someone's knife. That's the most important lesson. Be careful with other people's things. Okay, we're just gonna do something safe. We're gonna do a PM2 because those are pretty easy. Ooh, wow. He already has an S90B PM2. Man, he always has brand new knives. Oh, that's like the coolest place I've ever been. I love Tokyo. It's really cool. And the food is amazing. Like unreal. Yeah, dude, we're gonna have fun. We're gonna sharpen some knives and chit chat and let's see if anything's fun. If you guys want to see anything or any of my knives, just let me know and we can take a break. So first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get this PM2 ready to sharpen though. In my TS prof. So I need my drivers. So I calibrated this clamp. I didn't really realize that was a thing you have to do the other day. TS Prof had a video about it on Instagram. Basically, I had to fine adjust all these 8 screws on the back of here to make sure that it held the blade perfectly level. And I'm surprised how centered and level this holds the blade. It's actually really crazy. You just stick it in there and it's centered. I thought you'd have to monkey around with it, but because it's not like KME jaws. KME jaws articulate to the shape of a blade, but so do these. So these are like double sprung, and I can't really understand the physics behind it, but it holds the blade really straight. So I don't have to worry about clamping on a flat spot like a lot of people do. I just clamp in the middle of the blade. I clamp on the same spot on a PM2 every time. So I take a piece of chamois cloth. It's a little piece of leather, basically. Wrap it around the top of the blade. Put it in the jaws. Oh, yeah, it's just way spread apart. The last knife I did was a Chavez, so it was really thick. The Chavez, American-made Chavez, I think. Okay, I'm going to center it front to back in the jaws, like so. Lightly tighten it down. So that's how it's clamped. So let's have it lightly clamped now. I'm going to take my 150 Hapstone Premium CBN 150 stone. This is my favorite stone that exists. It's amazing. It reprofiles like crazy fast, but it's really clean and it's doesn't leave scratches. I don't know. It's like magical. Okay, and use that to check the angle. And I'm going to sharpen with it. So, finish setting this up. I take the stone and I'm going to rotate the blade in the clamp. So I rotated it until the stone and the flat grind line are parallel with each other. Like that. So I can hit the whole heel without cutting into the bevel or making a weird angle, so it just looks like a clean transition. So once I got there, I'm going to tighten this down. Yeah, dude, the beef there is unreal, and I can't eat sushi. I mean, I can eat sushi, but it's not doesn't even touch the sushi in Tokyo. Like sushi in Tokyo, I was eating every little grain of rice. You know, it was just delicious. No, I don't have my mini Arius yet, Danny. I haven't got the email yet. I think I'm like pretty far down the list because when I was checking out, it was a whole fiasco. But I'm on the list somewhere. I just love everything in Japan. Japan's the coolest place. I want to go back there. I can't wait to take my kids there. Food's cool. Getting around is unbelievably simple because everything is in English, or there's apps that tell you how to take every form of transportation. It's great. I love it. Everything out there. I tried to buy cigarettes out of a vending machine on the street, and I didn't know you had to have some like ID pass saying that you were old enough to scan into the machine. And a police guy came over to me and was like, didn't speak English. And all he was trying to do was help me buy cigarettes, though. So he did help me out with that. I thought that was amazing. But no one like leaves cigarette butts all over the place. They all smoke around trash cans. All right. So this is a Spyderco. This is an S90 VPM2, which means that the angle that this is probably going to be at is about 17 degrees. So I know where my sharpener, Spyderco's, set at typically. And right now we are sitting at 16.9, 17 degrees. Okay. And then we're going to take a marker on our edge. Oops. We're going to marker up our edge. And I'm going to do some swipes to see how the marker lines up with the stone. So it's on the top of the bevel, which means the angle is too low. I'm going to do the other side. And typically, when it's at 17, one of them will be just above and one will be just below or pretty close. So we'll see this side. This side's pretty much right on. So since this side's right on at 17 degrees, we'll recheck this. Just set it to a nice even number. Okay. The cool thing about these stones, and I didn't do it at first, these Hapstone CBNs, these are probably the best investment I've ever made in the knife hobby, are these stones. They're not cheap. They're like 80 bucks a piece, and you have to get them shipped from Ukraine, and it takes a month to get them. This is an 80 grit. I don't even use this one that often anymore because all I need is a 150. I can do a whole knife sharpening with two stones. With this 150 and a 400, I can make a beautiful, beautiful edge really fast. These stones are great for profiling. They're great for finishing. So they're amazing. I love them. And now let's take this heel out with my CBNs. So I'm just gonna go over the edge, make sure we're getting rid of all the marker, and see where our high and low spots are. I'm gonna check my. Oh, this is something always check, especially if you're not doing the same types of knives. This is your stop. So when people have issues where they have scrape marks up the face of their blade, it's because they didn't use a stop collar. And so when they were pushing it, the blade went up just a little bit over and it drug over the edge. That's what happens a lot on KMEs when people don't use one of these. So these are important. Make it much less worrisome about sharpening. Okay, so we're at the angle pretty much. We have a little bit. This is the most common thing I see on these tips is the presentation side tip. The top of the bevel will be still black. It means we're going to have to do some grinding on that. And the heel's got to get ground out like usual. No big deal. So let's just work this edge a little bit. And we're just going to stay on this side for a little bit. I'm doing the heel right now just by grinding away. And it's really, really quick process. We're not trying to do the whole heel on one pass, though. We're just going to try to get this edge basically profiled and kind of hit the trouble spots, the spots that need a little extra work to get all the way there. And this is, we're not doing a mirror polish on this edge. We're just doing a satin finish. So it's not that I don't do as good of a job, but there's some things that we don't have to overwork an edge. Like if we're not trying to hide an imperfection for the sake of a mirror, if we can leave an edge more whole without removing as much material, I'd rather leave more material in place than just remove something for something you won't notice or see. So right now we're just getting it down profile to 17 degrees all across the edge. The tip's coming together pretty well. It's already coming off. Yeah, the tip's almost already profiled out. And so when you're doing tips, I know a lot of people have problems with this. You just have to be careful not to tip the stone this way. So an easy way to practice this is to take your left hand under the tip and use that as a guide for your stone. And so when I'm getting lazy and I'm really working on a tip, I'll just put my finger here to keep it from rolling off, just in case. Okay. This edge is looking really good already. Okay, this other side, let's redo the marker. This side will be a little bit more work. Looks like it's at a little bit higher angle. No, pretty much right on. So this is getting rid of almost all the marker, and we probably have just a little bit of profiling in a couple spots. Heel looks like it does every time. Again, we're using the Hapstone 150 CBN, and we're profiling this edge. This is a brand new factory S90V PM2, which is awesome. This is such a cool knife. It's the teal knife that just came out. If you're looking for a good PM2 to customize, this is the best PM2 in my opinion that's ever been made. I mean, I'm serious. If you want to customize a PM2, this S90V satin with the teal scales is the best customizable PM2 for the dollar that's ever been made, because you can get one for 148 bucks at White Mountain Knives, which is a lot less than a plain one. So you can get a dirt cheap S90V PM2, and you hit the best steel that they haven't used since in a satin plain blade since 2012. I've been waiting for a satin plain. I need to get one of these. I've been waiting for a satin plain S90V PM2 for so long. And so this is a killer option. Okay, this side's coming together really nicely. Okay, this side's basically done. Now I'm just going to do probably one more pass on each side, make sure it's all profiled out. Okay, the tip is done. So this side basically is done. Its profile is all even, the heel's done. Now we're gonna do the same thing on this side. Get this thing, 90% of the way there, and then I'll do one last pass on each side to make sure everything is good. Make sure I'm not missing any spots. Make sure all the imperfections are captured and ground out. So a little bit more at the heel. Heels are just work. I mean, honestly, when I'm doing a new factory edge, I spend at least half the time I'm just doing the heel on the first stone. It's probably half of the time I'm spending sharpening. And then blending out, putting a little bit of pressure on the inside edge by kind of slightly twisting the stone. Okay. Now we're just going to do one last pass just to make sure it's clean. Make sure we're getting the burr on both sides. So I guess I didn't show what I've been getting a burr. It's been so well profiled, but I can take my fingernail underneath the bottom of the edge and you can ting it off the burr. So now our goal is just to get the burr smaller. And you do that by going back and forth with a higher grit stone. So just going to do the last couple passes on this, make sure it's all scratch pattern looks nice and even and unidirectional. So this is looking really nice. Heel is done. So it took us 3 passes. 3 passes on each side is kind of my typical pattern, I guess, where I feel like I've got everything and I'm not rushing it. I'm not going to have to go back and hopefully redo it as many times. It just kind of do it really thoroughly the first time. Now we're going to Halfstone 400 CBN. CBN, if you aren't aware, is kind of like diamonds. Well, it's a hard material, but instead of diamonds, this is a liquid metal mixed with these little CBN plates, and they melted it down, and now there's CBN inside this metallic bonded stone. And CBN leaves a much better finish, and it cuts like crazy compared to diamonds. They cost more, but they are well worth the marginal difference. So use my 400 grit stone. I'm just going to work this edge and even out the scratches and make the scratches go away. So I work both directions, forward and backwards. Work the heel especially. Most of the scratches you guys have, I see people complain about, is at the heel. And this takes extra polishing at the heel. It just does to get them to go away. Okay. Flip one. Oh, what's up, Sean? The difference I have seen between these CBNs and my last set of stones was a resin bonded diamond Ven of Orions. They cost the same amount as these. They're both $80 a piece stones. They're really expensive stones. The diamonds didn't cut as fast. They left way more scratches, and they wear out, and they like the stones aren't nearly of the quality of these CDNs. There is a big difference. Like I didn't believe it when I was suggested to get these by some sharpening buddies, but I'm like, because I just got the Venevs, and the Venev I thought were the best stones. I tried these, and I sold the Venevs immediately. They're amazing. They're easy to use. I can do a whole edge with just these two stones if I want to. I'll show you like up to 800, but with just the 150 and the 400, I can do an amazing edge. So you can get a full stone set for just two stones. It's like 160 bucks. You don't need all the stones if you're really just trying to get sharp, because already the edge just from this 400 grit is already looking really good. Really, really, really good. Just a few passes and it's shined up. It's unbelievable how fast these things work. So I'm working forward strokes, and then just to make sure I get some of the scratches out, I'm gonna work it backwards. If there's anything left, I'll see it this way. And then forward again. Line everything up. Last pass. Okay. Now we're just gonna do a quick hit on each side, reducing the burr mainly, and just doing forward strokes. Okay. Okay. Now we're done with the 400 grit stone. And now I jump up. So this is the edge I do for most people when they send me knives. This is my $25 edge. This is just um, a high satin matte finish. So right now I could take this off here, and it's really really fucking sharp. Um, After I strop it, it'll be really sharp anyway. It's still got a little burr. But I take an 800 grit stone and I just do a quick work over it. Take off any less burr. I'm not really even trying to polish to like the extent that the 800 grit needs. I'm just doing a light, quick pass on it to clean up the edge. I'm not trying to mirror it, so this doesn't need to be perfect. Okay. Now we're going to pop it out of the clamp. If you have a TS Prof Cadet, these center clamps, I know a lot of people are looking for them, are back in stock at Gritomatic now. And they are a must-have accessory for this sharpener. Okay, wipe all the metal dust off of it. Take 3 micron strop. Strop is a Beavercraft Leatherworks strop, which is a Ukrainian company. You buy them on Amazon for 20 bucks though. They're great strops. I have a ton of them because they work perfect. I just like the size, and I love stropping by hand with a big paddle strop. It's just really controllable. It's kind of I'm trying to keep it on camera, so it's not going to be super natural looking, but I'm going to strop by first find the edge. So I'll go push up into the leather like this while you raise the angle until you catch. So that's how you find the angle when you strop, is you push up until it catches. So once you've done it though, you you know where it is. And when you're on the bevel stropping, you can feel when it's flat. So we're just going to do some stropping. We're not trying to mirror it though. So we're not going to go crazy on stropping. We're just trying to remove any burr, straighten up the edge, give it a little bit of shine, but we're not trying to chase every scratch away. But again, when you're stropping, you're going to want to make sure you hit the heel a lot because it's the area that gets the most scratches and it's the hardest to polish out. So if you're trying to mirror it, don't neglect the heel because that looks ugly if it's half mirrored and half not. Okay, so we're all done. I'm going to take my Gunny Glow. And what this is this cleans off the blade, and I take a magic eraser, which is melamine foam, but a Mr. Clean magic eraser. And I have some marker marks on there that don't come off super easy. But with Gunny Glow and this, they wipe right off. So this is what I always return knives in as good a condition or better than I receive them. So I make sure when I clean stuff off, blades look nice. So this is a light polish, 800 grit, quick passed edge. And then last moment of truth is I look on the edge to make sure there's no like super obvious ugly imperfections. Make sure the bevel's even all the way through. I'm not missing any spots. Then piece of paper, pull it all the way through the edge, and I'm feeling make sure there's no snags. And this is very sharp. And yes, like a factory edge can slice paper, but you can feel the resistance in the edge, and this is a very sharp edge. So one knife down. What's next? What should I do now? I think Ken wanted me to work on this knife actually, so maybe we should do that. Dial this knife in. So we sharpened it. Let's get some tools out. Let's open it up now. So let me see what he's, yeah, I can see what's wrong. So we have action, it's just kind of tight. And so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to see how tight the screws are. Okay, so he's got aftermarket hardware on here. These are all T8s. Okay, so we're going to take the hardware out and we're just going to start over. On this side anyway. Usually when you have a PM2 that has a action issue you can't dial in, it's the stop pin. It's not the pivot. If you get the pivot loose and it's like super loose and floppy and it's still not dropping shut, it's your stop pin. So that's always my hope is what's wrong with knives. Oh yeah, I'm gonna take this one all the way apart. So we're just gonna rebuild it. Always start on the presentation side when you redo a knife. Just gonna rebuild a custom knife from screw. Oh, I spotted the problem. This is not fully seated. Where is it? I can't tell. No, maybe not. Oh, it's just got a backspacer in it. And it pushes apart. Okay. Okay, open the knife up. See what we got here. Don't lose your washer, so pay attention to where that goes. Okay, so this is just a slip-on backspacer piece. It goes over the standoff. So the standoff's already in there. And so my answer usually for what's wrong with my knife is just rebuild it. And it's obviously not always the right answer, but we're just going to try that. We're just going to rebuild this really quickly and see if just doing some minor tweaks makes it go away, makes it easier to dial in. So the thing though is this knife is fully custom. So it's got custom hardware, custom scales, and a lanyard tube that are custom. So that makes things extra interesting because if one of them's off, it could be throwing something else off. But I have to figure out what that issue is. We're just going to put these screws in snug. We don't want them too tight because they do affect the action as well as the pivot. So we just want them snug. Ah, got locks. Yeah, this is. Try loosening some screws. This one's gonna be a tight PM2. Yeah, wow. These ones really do have to be backed out. There we go. It's getting there. Let's see how loose these screws are, though. So basically now I'm just tightening and loosening screws little bits. Like I'm tightening them all the way down, just snug everything together, and then just loosening up a little bit at a time. This one just really tight, and it could be because of this backspacer. Maybe. I don't know. So the whole thing's just really tight. I hate backing off screws too much because they fall out. So I don't want to back these pivot screws out too far. I think this thing just needs work in. Ooh, Ted's right. Extra washer. Because earlier when I had two knives apart, when Ted was here at my house, well, there's not going to be an extra washer, but we'll play along. I accidentally put two washers on the same side of a knife, and it wouldn't work right. That was quite funny. I didn't believe I actually did that. Okay, what is wrong with this dude? Let's try it without the lanyard tube. No. Make sure the pivot is sitting the way it's supposed to be sitting. Yep, it is. Okay, and we're just putting it back together again. Well, I think we're just gonna have to work on this one tomorrow. This one's not getting smoothed out. I'm gonna have to do some part swaps. I think it's just hardware. It's not factory hardware. It's just hard. It's hard to get it dialed in. I can get it there. It'll get loose. It needs to be Loctited though. It needs to be flicked for a little bit and Loctited. Anyway, that was knife number 1. What else did Ken send? I think he sent something crazy. What is this? Oh, a pair of 3. That's not crazy. This is crazy. A Vero. Oh, this would be an interesting one. I don't want to do this one right now, though. So this is a Tonto tip knife. I don't feel like doing black knife tonight because I have to like do extra tape work and stuff and pay extra attention. So we're gonna do a pair of 3. Where's my little baby? Looks like this one's actually been sharpened before. So lining up the grind with the stone. We're clamped. Tighten it down. Okay. Starting at 150. Wow. Perfect. Let's see what angle this is, but I'm guessing it's right about 17. And that's what it looks like it was already sharpened to. Yep, just over 17. It's a beautiful thing. And so this one, we'll see how it goes. It's already been sharpened. Now I'm kind of just seeing if there's anything that I need to fix on it. The heel needs a little more attention, but that's not a huge deal. Yeah, this was sharpened before, but they didn't quite fully commit to doing the heel all the way. It just kind of like tapers off a little bit. So I'm just cleaning up the heel, making it a little more square. Edge is pretty well profiled already. Yeah. Yeah. So this knife's already been profiled. This is pretty simple sharpening. So this will be a partial cost sharpening because it's already been profiled. That's all the hard work is profiling it. This is once you get this part done, it's already done. Sharpening is just a breeze. So we're just creating a burr right now, making sure that we're actually apexing the edge, which we should be. The marker's all gone. We're at the right angle. I'm just making sure everything's even. Got some fresh steel. Just all lined everything up. Made it look nice. Make sure the bevel's nice and clean. And the heel ends nice and square. Take a little bit more out of the heel. There we go. Okay, now I'm just going to check for a burr with my fingernail, make sure that we really did get it, but we did. Okay, all good. Now we're swapping to 400 grit. Bye, Ted. So now we're just cleaning it up, reducing the burr, and giving it a nice matte satin finish. And now dump down to 800 and do one pass each side real quick. And it's that simple. Once that knife is profiled, it's super easy to sharpen. It's all about profiling. It's all about making your bevels nice and easy, and then you can come back and resharpen it. It's a freaking breeze. So this one was already profiled. It just needed a little bit of help on the heels. And we're just taking it up to 800 grit. Does not be perfect. We're not trying to mirror it. We're trying to keep it matte satinish. Okay, that's done. Hit it on the strop again. Okay, all done. Clean it off with a chamois cloth, gunny glow, and a magic eraser. Make it nice and clean. Oh, that's a nice looking edge. Boom. Make sure it looks nice. Beautiful. Well, I think that's about enough. We sharpened 2 knives. That's what I do for work. Isn't it fun? And you guys got to join me tonight. So anyway, thank you guys for joining me. That was cool. I'm getting really tired. And I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Bye.